Now we can start.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Hello, out there. I've never presented to just a camera before, so it's a slightly nerve-wracking experience. I'm not quite sure who I'm talking to. So my name is Adrian Dutch. I'm the head of the international office at City University London. I also look after one country, which is South Korea, which I stole from my colleague. He sent me here by mistake, and I never gave it back again. So mainly my role is to sort any problems that you have. I also have a colleague whose information I will give you at the end, who deals day to day with student inquiries from South Korea. I don't know if you want to translate after each slide or how you want to do it. Are you translating in writing or?
Just try to summarize your speech.
Okay.
Not
I'll talk really fast and then type really fast. So, do you want to click onto the first slide? It's nice and gentle to introduce you. So, hopefully you all saw the Olympics in London. It was a very big event for us, changed London very much. We became a much friendlier city. This is the South Korea team coming into the stadium. If you click onto the next slide, City also welcomed the South Korean team. That's me in the Olympics, because I was in the ceremonies for opening and closing ceremonies. Most countries, I have a picture of me with the team, but the South Korean team is very shy. So I only had one athlete who would have his photo taken. He's one of your divers. But yes, I was there. That's me in the stadium just after the ceremony when everybody had gone home. Okay. So, maybe some of you have been to London, maybe some not. 4 key things to remember about London. Number one, it's a financial capital of Europe. And you'll hear a lot about our business courses throughout this presentation for that reason. Secondly, it's a cultural capital. This is very important for Korean students because 2 of our leading courses are in the cultural sector. And thirdly, it's a historic capital. And fourthly, it's a very multicultural capital. So students who come to London and who come to City, I would not call this a British experience. It's a global experience, an international experience that they will get, which is very important for their careers later on. So, in terms of living in London, 11,000 different places to eat, including plenty of Korean restaurants and supermarkets. Lots of shopping in London, which appeals to the students. It's a top sports location with 5 top football teams. The one thing people always know about London is it's very expensive. The one thing I would say is that there are 2 main expenses. Number one is your accommodation, and there is no escaping the fact that accommodation in London is very expensive. Number 2 is your travel on the subway, this kind of thing. So my subway ticket here costs about 1,500 won, which in London won't get you to your front door. The subway is very expensive. Everything else is the same price wherever you go in London. You know, a Big Mac costs the same in London as it does in Norwich. And also in London, there is a huge amount of things to do for free. So every weekend there is an event in London. There's lots and lots to do that doesn't cost any money, but we can't escape the fact that accommodation is expensive. So, City University was established over 100 years ago in 1894. It was called the Northampton Institute. The picture you see here is the original building, which we still use today. Today, this is the School of Arts. This is where students who study cultural policy and management, for instance, would study, or journalism, which are both popular courses with Koreans. We became a university in 1966, so we have our 50th anniversary of being a university in 2016. The Chancellor is the Lord Mayor of London. This is an honorary title which changes every year. And the university is actually run by the Vice Chancellor, Because of our location, we have very close contacts with business and industry. We are located right in the heart of the legal, financial, creative and journalism industries in London. The latest tables place us number 9 in the UK for graduate level employment, number 14 for starting salaries, and we are ranked 327th in the world currently overall, but we are top 300 for business and economics and top 300 for engineering. So, I don't know, can you click on the map? Probably not as an image. Clickable?
No.
No, it doesn't matter. So, in terms of our location, a lot of your students will probably have heard of King's Cross Station because it's in the Harry Potter books. We are one subway stop from King's Cross, and King's Cross is here. So yeah, that's King's Cross there. One subway stop is Angel Tube Station, and then we are 5 minutes walk from Angel. This puts us right next to the financial district, the legal district, and the creative district. But it's a very, considering we are in central London, it's a very quiet, very safe residential area. Okay. As I said, it's a very international university. In total, there are 22,000 students. But of those, about 13,000 are full-time students studying undergraduate, master's and PhD. And of the 13,000, over 40% now are from outside the UK. Even the staff, we have staff from over 70 countries, as well as students from 156 countries. Almost every country in the world. We have over 30 international partnerships, including research partnership with Seoul National University, and I'm currently having some conversations with Inha University to have an exchange partnership with them as well. We also have a 2+2 with the business school and KAUST as well. Okay, so City is called the University of Business and the Professions. So most of our degrees are what I would call work-related, jobs-related. We don't offer history, geography, sciences. We do engineering, we do computing, we do business. We do things that will lead to jobs. And for this reason, the degrees have a combination of academic thinking and practical training. 2/3 of the undergraduate degrees will lead from exemptions from professional exams later in their career. So if they want to be an actuary, if they want to be an accountant, there are some exams they won't need to do because they did them on their degree. And almost all of our undergraduate degrees and some postgraduate degrees offer the opportunity for a work placement as well, which for an international student in the new visa regime is very, very valuable. So we have 6 schools, and I'll just take you through them, but what I want to do is to highlight the courses that are probably most appealing to Korean students rather than just list every course. So if we start with School of Arts, which is actually now joined with the School of Social Sciences. Go on to the next slide. So the number 1 course for City for Korean students, Cultural Policy and Management. It's about 60 to 80 students a year. I'm disappointed if 10 of those aren't Korean. Going back a few years, it was the first arts management master's course to be offered, and so we've been doing this for 30 years. And going back a few years, one of our graduates went on to become the Vice Minister of Culture in Korea. And lots of people who studied CPM at City have now gone on to very successful careers. And so other people now want to come and study this at City. Most of the inquiries that I got yesterday at the British Council Fair were for Cultural Policy and Management, or CPM. You'll hear it called cultural management, arts management, cultural policy. It's all pretty much the same thing. Because of the success of the masters, we now have introduced a bachelor's, which is called Cultural and Creative Industries, 3 years bachelor's program. It also includes a pathway from into the BA already, and I would hope that over time we will start to see more and more Korean students come through for the bachelor's as well, because of the reputation of the master's course. So, if nothing else today, remember the CPM course, because you will get inquiries for this. Journalism, we have one of the best journalism facilities in Europe. The picture you see is of our TV studio. We also have radio studios and press facilities. Everybody who teaches on the journalism course is a former journalist. They're not academics, they are proper journalists. The head of department is a former editor of the Times in the UK. Again, we have some students who come for the bachelor's program, and there is a pathway from the INTO Foundation, but the big interest is in the Masters in International Journalism, 1-year Masters. We also offer Masters in Political Journalism, in Financial Journalism, and in Science Journalism. It's a very, very popular subject at City. Music, I think I had one inquiry from a Masters student yesterday from City. It's a very, very difficult course to get into because they require performance certificates. But if you do have music students and you have any questions about whether they would be eligible, please do email me, because music students are very valuable to us because they're very rare. In social science, the number one course of inquiry is probably economics. At undergraduate, they can do a combined degree with economics and accountancy, and the accountancy element is taught by the business school, which makes it a bit more attractive to students because of the business school. But it's a very strong department in line with business. It's ranked top 300 in the world. We get every year a few students interested from Korea in politics, in postgraduate psychology, and in sociology. The sociology department is very strong on media and communications, and Korean students seem to be very interested in this subject. So I had inquiries yesterday from students at every level, undergraduate, postgraduate, and even PhD, from the Department of Sociology. So probably of those 4 subjects, it's going to be economics and sociology you will have most interest in. In engineering, I think it's fair to say we don't have enough Korean students, and I would love to get more. We've been doing engineering for well over 100 years. We were the first university to offer aeronautical engineering. We also offer biomedical, transport, civil, computer systems, electrical engineering, mechanical, telecommunications, and also energy engineering, which is increasing importance. In the same department is the School of Mathematics. One of the appeals of this department is, again, they can do maths with finance and economics, and the finance element is taught by Cass Business School, the economics by the School of Economics. The entry requirement is lower than for the business school, so some students who apply for business but don't quite make it often come into mathematics. One area that the university as a whole is very strong on is shipping. So for those of you who are based in areas of shipping, in port areas, we offer maritime operations in the School of Engineering, maritime finance in the School of Business, and maritime law in the School of Law. And we have a very, very strong heritage in maritime education. That's something to consider if you're in the right.
Could you tell me more about professional placement?
Yes. So on the undergraduate degree, all students have the opportunity. They can study for 3 years to be a B.Eng, or 4 years to do M.Eng. Okay, but they can also take an extra year and work in industry as part of their degree. It's sort of a very basic waged job, but it's very, very good experience. For overseas students, if they have the opportunity within their visa to do the placement, I always recommend it, because then they leave with something on their CV, some work experience. The university assists the student in finding a placement. Informatics is something I move over very quickly, not because it's a bad department, but because the courses that we offer are very, very similar to other universities' courses. It's very hard for me and for you to find something unique about the courses. It has a great demand, again, for overseas students. So if you have students for informatics, we value them greatly, but I appreciate that it's not an easy subject to sell, simply because we haven't got something that's particularly unique to offer students at the moment. But again, they all come with the opportunity for professional placement and work experience. The School of Health Sciences, we offer some specialised degrees, which you see listed there: Speech and Language Therapy, or SLT, Nursing, Radiography and Optometry. The number of students you will see for these courses will be very, very minimal. The big course for Korean students, or two courses in health sciences, will be Health Management or Health Policy. So a Master's in Health Management, 1 year, for students who work in hospitals, even in big cosmetic surgery clinics. All of these industry requires managers, and the Strategic Management, Health Management course is the only one of its kind in London. For students who want to work in the pharmaceutical industry or in the Ministry of Health, we have Health Policy. And both of these courses are relatively new and growing very fast, and I would expect us to start to see interest in these courses. Even yesterday I had a student who is going to apply, who is currently working for the Ministry of Health, to come and study health policy from Korea. And these ones will grow and grow. The law school, it's very rare that you will see undergraduates, because the Korean legal system is very, very different from the British legal system. And the rules for becoming a lawyer in Korea changed very recently. It's going through something of an evolution in Korea, and a new system will be put in place. So a student who studied undergraduate law in the UK wouldn't really be able to practice as a lawyer. There could be a legal advisor, but really I would recommend that they study their undergraduate in Korea. The big areas for Korean students would be postgraduate law, and specifically international commercial law. They can specialise again in energy law, in shipping law, or they can do a general commercial law LLM. And that's, again, a very big growth area for the university. We see increasing numbers of students from this region, obviously a lot from China, but a couple from Korea every year. And finally, the business school, which gets more charts because it has a higher ranking. So for undergraduate, Cass Business School is the #1 ranked business school in London, #2 in the UK for business and management degrees. It's been 6 years in the top 3 in the UK, and it's a business school that's known all over the world. It's only unfortunate that in Korea, Cass is a beer brand rather than a business school, otherwise it would be more. Students know this all over the world. The courses range from very general, like business studies or management, to highly specialised courses like actuarial science, banking, investment management. And the students, again, they have the option of a year out in industry or a year studying abroad. For Korean students, I would always say take the year. Okay. Students will often ask, what's the difference? Firstly, they will come and say, I want to do business management. And then you say, well, it's 2 courses. And they say, well, what's the difference? So just to explain, business studies teaches you the key functions that students will need when they go into work. Accounting, HR, marketing, economics, the key functions that will be the foundation of their business career. Management is in itself a function. So the management course will teach you how to manage, and it will be a lot more theoretical, a lot more academic than the business studies course. If a student isn't sure between business studies or management, I always recommend business studies. They can always come back later in their career to do a management master's or an MBA. But the business studies will teach them the fundamentals they need to know for a career in. For those of you, sometimes I get asked the question about actuarial science and what actuarial science actually is. It's really mathematics for investment. So it's primarily used in the insurance industry and in the investment industry to measure the value of investments. So if a student asks you what an actuary is, the answer is it's probably not the course for you. Students will self-identify as wanting to do actuarial science. It's the only course, undergraduate course in business, that does not have a pathway from into. So students wanting to study actuarial science really either need to do A-levels or IB, or I need to point them to another foundation provider outside of INTU. I would go on because we talked about the placement, so we can move on. And we can move on from this because this is postgraduate. So I suppose I should say that the bad news about postgraduate straight away, which is that postgraduate business school does not pay commission. So it's an interesting product for agents in that it attracts students' interest through your door, but it always has to be borne in mind that you won't get commission for a postgraduate. The other problem with the postgraduate course is it doesn't accept a graduate diploma from INTU. So the students can only come in direct. Okay. The reason is that it's one of the top business schools in the world. It's in the top 1% of business schools with triple accreditation. It's ranked number 3 in the UK by the Financial Times, and it's the only one that's in the heart of the City of London. It has the building you see in the photo is the Cass Postgraduate Business School. It's down the road from the university, with Bloomberg and Reuters trading rooms, top quality facilities, and it gets the finance masters alone attracts 10,000 applications a year. So they are their attitude, I suppose, is that they don't need to pay commission. Where it also helps agents, though, is that it does attract students who sometimes don't get into the business school for postgraduate, and then you can direct them potentially to other courses like specialist management courses or economics, where you do get commission. That's the range of courses that we offer. So actuarial science and actuarial management, MSc, which is one of the most popular, shipping, trade and finance, as we've said, which may be popular in some regional areas. The only ones that probably have started to shrink a bit are real estate, because in this region the real estate market hasn't been so good. Go on to the next slide. The Careers Fair, that's just a small selection of the people that attend the Careers Fair. Every major financial house in London will attend it. We also hold alumni events every year. I hope either next year or the year after we will have another alumni event in Korea. We also have an academic from Korea in the business school who comes over every year and does a masterclass in supply chain, trade and finance. For Korean students, there's a certain amount of familiarity with the business school because of this as well. Okay. So, for the business school, if you do have applications, applications must be online only. They expect a university degree of 2.1 or above. In GPA terms, I guess that's about 3.8 from 4.5 in Korea. They will also look at the quality of the university. So if a student went to a lower ranking university, they may be rejected or they may be asked for a slightly higher GPA. They need to provide their transcript and 2 references. And the other important thing is if they're applying for the finance or the management course, they must do a GMAT test before they apply. Because of the volume of applications that the business school receives for these courses. If they don't want to do a GMAT for finance, then I would recommend they look at either corporate finance or quantitative finance. It doesn't require a GMAT before application. Plus, of course, their English certificate, 7.0 IELTS. And it usually takes about 4 to 6 weeks for them to get an offer from the business school. But if I'm aware of the application, I will chase them. Just a bit about student life. I would say that City is a very grown-up university. It's not a party university. This is partly because we have a lot of students from overseas and we have a lot of postgraduate students. So it's not one of those universities where students just go and drink and drink and drink. What we concentrate on are things like societies and clubs. The students run their own. We help them set up their clubs, and these can be anything from sports to things relating to their course, to business clubs, and special interest clubs as well. When students come from overseas, I really, really recommend that they get involved in at least one big society. It helps them meet students from outside of their course, outside of their country, and get more embedded in the UK. They'll also be part of a much, much wider student community in London, because obviously we have a lot of universities in London. Accommodation, all undergraduate accommodation is 5 minutes walk from the university. The students have their own room with a bed, shower room and study area, and they share a kitchen with 7 other students. The postgraduate halls are nearly all within 5 minutes walk. There is one which is a little further out and a little less expensive. Students must apply for their accommodation by mid-May in the year that they're coming, and then if they do this, their accommodation place is guaranteed for the first year. If they can't do this, if they're going to private accommodation, we have an accommodation service that can help them with this as well. If you have students who are in the UK, maybe studying for languages, or even if they're just on vacation, we have regular open days throughout the year. The other thing I would say is if you have students who are there and there's no open day and they want to see the university, if they just email my office, we will always accommodate students, show them around. Finally, contact details. So for general inquiries to City, you can use the international email address. My colleague that you see there, Simon Denton, he looks after the day-to-day affairs in Asia. So if you have questions over things like entry requirements, this kind of thing, you can email him, or you are most welcome to email me. Problems, if you need a fast decision, if you have a student that you think is borderline, I always want to know. If a student, you're not quite sure whether they would be acceptable or not and they are applying, I like to know just before they apply, because I will go and influence the decision as much as I can. But the main thing to remember is that myself, my team, our only job is to help students and help agents. So if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact. Yeah.
Yeah, first one.
Yes.
For applying Cass Business School
Yes.
for master degrees,
Yes.
how to apply? Could you tell us how to apply into master program without GMAT score?
Without the GMAT.
Without the GMAT.
You can apply for any of the master's programs without GMAT except for finance and management. Finance or management, they will just leave the application and not do anything with it until they get the GMAT.
And for finance and management program,
Yes.
when can students submit the GMAT score?
It should be when they apply. At the same time as they apply,
Okay.
they should attach their GMAT score.
Yeah. So master of management, if students apply master of management program,
Yes.
the student need to no. Uh, students have to the student have to be have to have a graduate of management degree from the university.
No. We have.
And
You mean
the
undergraduate
backlog.
major?
Yes.
No. What I would say, if you have a student who has done a business-related degree, this helps. But a management degree is to help you be a manager of any company. So maybe you are a manager of an engineering company, or you still need the management skills. What I would say is there comes a point in a student's career where if they start to get 3, 4, 5 years experience, then they may be better to do an MBA rather than the MSc in management. So yesterday I had, a few students wanted to do MSc management. Probably 2 or 3 of them I sent away and said, why don't you go and look at the MBA? Because you have so much experience, you should do the MBA.
Okay.
But really, they will look at the student's background for management, and really they're looking for students who from all industries. It doesn't have to be that they've just done a management bachelor.
Do you expect the students who has finished 1 year of Korean universities?
What I would recommend, because that student will be applying through UCAS, and they get 5 choices on UCAS, to not have them waste a choice on City, I say, if they have their transcript, send it to me. I will check with the school before they apply that the school would make them an offer. Yeah? So when they apply, they kind of know already that it's going to get them an offer. So today I had a student who has done 2 years, but she did 2 years of a computing course. She wants to go to the business school. Now, I don't know whether the business school will accept the fact that she was doing computing, so I have to check. I would rather check this before she applies than have her waste her time. So I'm quite happy to take the transcript to the relevant department and say, will you accept this student for direct entry before she actually goes through the expense and trouble of applying for it. But generally we accept 1 year's university tuition.
But do you look for which university from Korea?
It will depend on the course. So for business, probably we will look at the university. For the others, not so much. What we're looking for is really the subjects that they've studied, what grades they achieved, and also, generally the quality of the student rather than the university. Because I think most British academics will mainly be familiar with Seoul-based universities. So if a student comes from a good university but it's not in Seoul, then probably my academics haven't heard of it anyway. So I have to do a job with them to persuade them, no, this is a good university. My job is to help the student get in. So anything we can do to help make the student look good, we can do that.
Do you offer diploma program for like 1 year, 2 years before? No. Diploma programs for transfer to second year of university programs? No.
No. We will sometimes consider students for second year entry if they've done 2 or more years in university here, except for business. But generally speaking, it's quite hard for a student to transfer into the second year.
Okay. All right. Got the many questions and they're quite satisfied with
Yeah.
the presentation.
Okay.
All right.